we're going to move into just the setup for DreamHack. We've already talked about NA. We've already talked about EMEA, the results. But now let's go into what that means, where we're going to be seeing these guys. So DreamHack Dallas happening June 14th. We're going to be seeing prizes announced soon. Haven't been totally announced, but assuming it's going to be pretty big because it's the first international major from OWCS. The players in the game here, the teams in the competition, we've got Toronto Defiant, M80. Let me adjust it so we can see it on the stream. There we go. All right, Toronto Defiant, M80, students of the game made it in, which we're saying a little bit unsure, unqualified. Kind of not seeing the surprise they made it that far, but like not so much. I'm sorry.
That's a little mean. We were not saying that they're unqualified. We were saying that due to the bracket that they got put into, it did not matter how good they were, unless they were better than Toronto Defiant, because they were on that bracket side. It's just not nice. Like.
It doesn't get any easier for them here. They might be considered one of the weaker teams in this tournament, but they're in it, which hopefully means some guaranteed prize money. We'll see when they announce that. But we got students of the game making it, which might be a little bit more of a surprise. And I think those were the words I was looking for. You might not have been totally expecting to see them, but they've been performing well enough to get here. Space Station Gaming, who just won stage 2. Ents, who got second place. But then we also have Twisted Minds, which I believe Twisted Minds won stage 1 in Europe, but they have some drama because I believe some of their players got a bit boomed and have quit very suddenly. So they have about a month to get these new players into the system, into rotation, and well practiced basically. And then the last 2 teams we have competing in the tournaments, the 2 from the Asia region. Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons. Crazy Raccoon, I believe, was WAC, and these are just South Korean Overwatch veterans. Had their finest: Lip, Hiseng, Junbing, Max, Charong, and Shu. All names known throughout OWL. And then Team Falcons, also a star-studded with Proper, Stalker, Smurf, Hanbin, Chio, Fielder. Surmajed is the only one who's not from South Korea. He's a current import. As a support there, but still notable. And like overall, this competition seems to be heavy, and the big question is which region is really the strongest. Nick, any thoughts about the teams here competing, what you're looking at, what you're hoping for to see very quickly, and then maybe a thought or two about the strength between the diversity of regions and their style of play?
So I don't know much about the style of play for Asia for the most part. For Overwatch, but if I were to put money on it, they're probably more aggressive up front and less laid back compared to a lot of teams. And their team comps are probably a little bit stranger than North American team comps, just because that's usually kind of the way that it happens. I am impressed that Crazy Raccoons is a name, because it's like the most Little League, like North American Little League team name that there is. It's like the Crazy Raccoons hit another home run. Like it's very baseball-y. But so, like, because I don't know a lot of these teams besides the ones that were in the tournament, like the top 4 right there that we were already like talking about, I would assume that based on what you said, that like we'd probably watch out for like Crazy Raccoons and the other team. But again, it does like. Probably no standouts, and probably it's going to be like a Toronto Defiant kind of year. Like instead of it being, some comp, it's just going to be Toronto Defiant's year to just constantly win.
So a lot of the conversation here is that, Toronto has looked strong through NA, and it's really just it's Toronto's tournament and who's going to come into second a lot of the time here. M80 has stepped up and really like put themselves together as a clear second, even over some of the other teams that have come and gone. But like just for now, the first 2 stages, Students of the Game making it on circuit points is pretty big. And then EMEA, we have a much different style of play with Space Station and Ents, but like these are veterans, like clear Overwatch League pros. So like it makes sense that these guys got in. A little bit of a shakeup, but like Twisted Minds here at the bottom, it's going to be one that like probably looking to be one of the weakest. It might come as not come as a surprise, but they might be able to shock or upset people. And like the big thing, like you're talking about with the Asia region, is we have two teams that are predominantly South Korea, two teams that have predominantly won major tournaments in Overwatch League, if not the championship. We've got role stars on these teams. Hanbin Smurf proper won Rookie of the Year and MVP the year he's in. Like arguably the best Overwatch player ever. He has an ego to go with it, but their style is more dive, like you said, more aggressive, and like they'll read on the meta might be where this tournament becomes super exciting. Because you'll have the two teams from the Asian stage come in, and they're gonna go up against. Well, let's see who they're playing in the first round, because we do have the upper bracket first and foremost. Crazy Raccoon's gonna be going up against M80, and Team Falcons is gonna be going up against ENCE off the first round.
You literally just said this. Like, what poor twisted minds. Those poor bastards.
Yeah. Those poor bastards.
That's me.
Fortunately, it's a double elimination tournament, but they're not looking good even before seeing the seeding and the placement, because they got boomed on the roster. They had 3 people retire or something happen on the back end of the organization where they have people leaving pretty suddenly. So is what it is. And like, let's see if they can bounce back and maybe upset. Probably not, or make a lower bracket run here and plan on that.
I think these brackets are terrible, to be honest. So basically based off what you literally said, like M80 should be in the other spot in the other bracket, the top part of the bracket. Score what? Sorry. Yeah, so like literally M80 should literally be in Students of the Game spot. Or ENCE's spot or something along those lines, right? Because like
I don't know if this was ranked seeding. I think it might have just been random seeding, because it's international. They don't have any comparative against each other.
It's international. Give me the best games for viewership.
Well, you're gonna get that for sure. Let me take a look here, see if we can find out how it was decided. But like, generally speaking, right? Like, I think the most exciting part about this is going to be the style difference, the style clashing, where you can have an EU sort of rush style go against an American versatility style, or a dive heavy Winston style. Because like EU will play Ram Rush a lot. We'll lean into Rhine Rush sometimes. North America will be Ram, Orisa. And then maybe some dive, but then you have like a Asia region doing a lot of Winston Doomfist, which is kind of surprising, and then maybe some Diva and Orisa at the end here, and that's just the tank matchup, not even going into like the DPS matchups, but like that styling might be it. Yeah, I can't really find anything currently about the how they seeded this, and it might be random, but you are talking about the top 8 teams from all 3 regions. So it might not be as lopsided as you kind of expect it to be. I think we might be a little biased seeing the Toronto Defiant versus Twisted Minds in the first round here.
Not even just that. Like we already just watched like M80 versus Toronto Defiant. Like literally, they've had 3 full game matches in the past month. Right? We've seen them face each other 3 different times already. I don't want to, like, even if M80 won, I don't want to see Toronto Defiant versus M80 again. Like, I think that's how the bracket's stupid. Because, like, they're literally going to be touching each other again already. And then, Space Station and Students of the Game should probably be separated, right?
No. They
Space Station and ENCE faced each other, too.
Yeah, like, you're right. I'm not one.
Like, it looks like they purposely did this. We'll just have... Except for the Asia teams don't have to. If they did face each other to get there, I'm not really sure.
But that's the point of like randomness, right? If it is a random seeding for this international tournament, it's got to be random, and random will be random. So like, if it is place seeding, and I want to take a look at that and like go into more about that. But if it is place seeding, then that might make a more evident case point to your case. Basically, either way, it's a double elimination. So we both know the exciting games happen on the lower bracket where it means more, where there's more at stake. So seeing M80 go to the lower bracket earlier might be more exciting. Seeing Raccoon go into there, seeing Ents or Space Station hit that because they had a bad game.
What's your bracket? What's your April Madness for Overwatch? Like, what do you got?
Well, quick prediction here. I think I have a lot of Scrimbucks in Crazy Raccoon. I think they're going to be able to come out over Toronto Defiant in the second round, and I think that's going to make the lower bracket pretty exciting from the second round on. I want to save my full predictions for a little bit later. I want to do a whole segment at a later episode where we can see the prize pool. We can know a little bit more about the meta changing because, in fact, Venture's coming out in this new world. We'll be playing Venture here in this tournament, and by the looks of how these players are streaming, they're practicing her style and her play as a DPS hero. So we might see a dive rush sort of combo hybrid or full-fledged on-in with her play coming up. And I want to reserve my full predictions for then, but out of the gate, I think Crazy Raccoon takes it. I think they knock out Toronto Defiant in the second round, and then I think it's anyone's game in the lower bracket to come back and play Crazy Raccoons in the finals. How about you? What do you got?
Nah, that's just funny. Like, I can go through a full one, but if you want to save it, we can save it. But that's just interesting that you say that if based on if Toronto Defiant loses in the upper bracket semifinals and then goes into lower bracket, that seems pretty. If that's the case, like, I don't know how good Team Falcons is, right? But if, let's say, they came second to Crazy Raccoons, or are they first in their own little region, right? But let's say they came second place to Crazy Raccoons. You're telling me Crazy Raccoons can beat Toronto Defiant? Upper bracket finals would then just probably be like Team Falcon versus Crazy Raccoon. And if that happened, that would mean that the only people who could possibly stop Toronto Defiant in the lower bracket would be M80. So sounds
this might be set up.
Like I just called it. Yeah,
this might be set up. This might be set up for maximum Overwatch, like you wanted.
Sure, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe this is just, the WWE version of Overwatch right here. Everything's scripted.
Well, we do know that the script is in the books already, so we'll see what gets played out. I feel like Space Station and Ents had a better counter, better answer to Team Falcons and Dive. So I feel like that's going to be a closer matchup over there. But we'll get into the full predictions later on when we get a little bit more of a deep dive.